Hey guys, it's Carrie Creation, and this week we are going to do an artwork rework of a image that I did last year. Now, in celebration of the long weekend, we are going to redo last year's quotation Easter artwork. Now, honestly, it's been a year. I don't remember if I did this as a video or if I did it on stream, but if I can find it, I will link it up the top. Either way, I drew this character around Easter time last year, and she just kind of turned into, I guess, my Easter character. So I wanted to do a redrawing of her, redesign her outfit, just kind of update it a little bit. Because as much as I loved the old version at the time, and I still think it looks okay, but I just wanted to see... I thought it was like a good idea to try and see how much I've changed and how much my art has grown since that time last year. And honestly, I don't think my style has changed too much since that original one, but I do think it looks a lot better. I don't know. Let me know down in the comments or something. Maybe you can let me know which one you prefer, if it's the old one or the new one. But basically, I designed this character, and she's just wearing some pretty pastel colors and a rabbit skull mask thing. Obviously, I realize rabbit skulls don't come with the ears attached, but this one does, and that's fine. That's how I designed her, and I kind of like it. I kind of like the mixture of her pretty feminine pastels and this weird semi-grotesque mask. I mean, it's not really grotesque. There's nothing gory or anything about it, but, you know, it just kind of, it's a juxtaposition of styles, I guess, and I like that. So the sketch, I, as always, used a reference for that, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I had a little bit of difficulty figuring out what I was doing with her hand, but I decided to just have her holding up her floppy hat, which honestly, by the end, doesn't really read as a hat. Like, it's just a circle behind her head, really, but let's just pretend it's her hat. We can all pretend that we see it, and that'll be great. I really love the... I guess, like, glow up is the term of, like, how I do her hair and how I did her mask and things like that. I think it looks really nice compared to the old version. Not that the old version... Again, like, the old version doesn't look bad, but I can see the difference. I can see how I've grown with it, and I'm really happy with that. I really like it, and I think she came out looking really pretty, so I hope you guys think the same as well. When it came to the outfit for this character, I wanted the same sort of feeling. I wanted to use the same sort of colors and have that same sort of vibe for her, but I also wanted to change it up a little bit. The original one was nice, but kind of basic, I guess. It had some fun element designs to it, but I actually really love how this outfit turned out. I love the way that I did the shirt for her. I love the big poofy skirt that she's wearing, and when it gets to coloring, I think it all just comes together so nicely. I was tossing up for a little bit about whether or not to put the lace on the top of it, because I wanted it to kind of, like, the old one had, like, frills on it, so I was like, you know what, yeah, we'll add some lace to this one as well, but you know, it took me a little while to decide. As for the skirt, originally I wasn't sure if I was going to put her in this skirt or not, but I think it looks really cute to have, like, this big puffy feminine energy at the bottom of the image. So we went with that and just finished up the line work at the end of that. I have gotten into the habit where I really like having these swatches of color on the side so that I can just kind of put it all in. I actually, behind the scenes, I stop my recording, I grab all the colors I want, put them in, and then start my recording again. That's why they appear so fast, and you guys, I figure you guys don't really want to see me just swapping between old art, grabbing all the colors from it, so we just speed that up a little bit. I also decided to use this, like, weird green tinge from it originally inside the eyes as well. I didn't want them to be purely dark, and I spent so much time figuring out how I wanted this to look, because I want it to be really dark inside the eyes, but I wanted that green tone in there as well, and I think it turned out okay. The other issue that I faced is originally her skin color looks so dead. Like, to me, it just looks so grey and dull. So I still wanted to use that initial colour, but I spent a lot of time trying to like bring it back to life. I tried a lot of different things, and I think it got a lot better. By the end, I think it looks so much better than the dull shades that I used in the last image of her. And I think it really helped, like, bring her more into that springtime feeling, which I always think is funny because whenever I think of Easter, I think springtime energy, which is so weird because I'm Australian and Easter is in autumn for us. So really, she does not suit an Australian Easter. But we're just going to ignore that and pretend that this is totally fine. I grew up watching way too much TV, so, you know, spring vibes. I added this pattern to her dress, like to the shirt and the skirt of it. I think it turned out really well. I really loved it. And then I moved on to the background, as I occasionally like to do before I start my shading. And I spent a little bit of time designing this one flower, and I really like how this one flower turned out. I was like, oh yeah, this is great. And then I realized I was going to have to make a bunch of them, so I was like, nah, we copy paste this. You know, I say it a lot, but like, just make your life easier. Why can't life just be easy? Why can't art be easy sometimes? You know, art is hard. Art is really hard. Make it easy when you can. And then I was gonna do the same with the bushes and make that a lot harder on myself, but I went in with this blotching color effect, and you know, it's the same sort of thing that I was going for in the image last year, but just better. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I think this is just better. And then I went back in and added these leaves to the bottom of all the flowers so that it looks more like it blends in. And honestly, once I blur it to make it more of a background, I think it turned out pretty good. Of course, you know, doing the edges of the image, making her look like she's part of it, added in some grass stems. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I do that a lot. I do that a lot. And then, you know, added in all these extra colors behind her to kind of like blend her colors with the background. As for shading, as I've been doing quite frequently, I started with hair, because then I can be as messy with it as I need to be, go outside the lines as much as I need to, and then clean it up as I finish it all up. I decided to use this more pink tone. Normally I use like a grayish purple tone for shading, and I really like using that for shading, but again, I'm thinking spring, I'm thinking Easter, I'm thinking feminine energy, and so I decided to do this more vibrant pink shading, and I think it really helped the image. So I'm probably going to have to experiment more with not using the same color every time when I do shading. I want to kind of tie it more into the image and what I'm trying to get the feeling of, or what the background sort of look is, things like that, you know? I just, yeah, I go about chucking down all my colors, and you know, I have this bad habit where I'm doing shading and I don't really pick a lighting style or like a lighting direction. I just do whatever feels right, and you know, sometimes, like normally, I guess it all kind of comes, the light kind of comes from the right angle, the same angle every. I'm trying my best. What I'm trying to say is, like, you know, I think I'm happy with the shading. I'm happy with how it looks, but I probably should put in more effort into thinking about like lighting sources and things like that. And I think that could really help me elevate what I'm doing. But I really think this pink shading helped with making her skin look more alive. So that's definitely something I'm gonna have to keep in mind in the future, I think. Onto the highlights, I used this nice orangey tone, which is something that I have been doing a bit more lately. Having, like, originally, for a long time, I just did, you know, a white highlight, put it to add glow, and then lowered the opacity and blurred it out a little bit. But I really like doing the oranges at the moment. I think they really help bring more energy, more life into it, and it just makes it a little bit more interesting. I also decided to try and keep it in line with the previous year. So it's got the white border, it's got the sparkles and the circles and all of that. And part of upgrading it and making it look a little bit more soft was adding these adjustments to the line art. But overall, this is the final image, so I really hope that you like it. And this is, you know, compared to last year, I think it has really grown a lot. So if you like the video, please put a like on it. If you are not already subscribed, please consider subscribing because I upload every week, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!